All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something you probably do all the time without even thinking about it. Taking notes in a meeting. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Meeting notes. Kind of boring, right? But stick with me, because there is a quiet and, honestly, a fascinating revolution happening on that shared page, and it's changing a lot more than just how we track action items.
So, think about the last meeting you were in. I've got a question for you. Who really owns the truth of what happened in that room? Who's the one that gets to decide what was important, what was agreed upon, or even what was argued about? It seems like a simple question, but the answer is getting way more complicated.
You know, for the longest time, the answer was super simple. The truth belonged to whoever was holding the pen. One person, one notepad, one official record. Their memory, their interpretation, well, that became the official history of that meeting. But that whole model, it's being totally flipped on its head.
And that's our starting point, right? The era of the lone note-taker. This was a completely solitary job, just one person, probably hunched over a laptop, trying their best to capture everything that was being said.
And this, right here, this is the core of the whole thing. The old way relied entirely on one person's memory. And let's be real, a single person's memory is always going to be filtered through their own biases, their own understanding, what they happen to think was important. But where we're headed is something totally different, a collective record. And that changes absolutely everything.
Which brings us to where we are now, the shared digital page. This isn't just a document anymore. You got to think of it more like a live, collaborative space. A digital room where the truth of the meeting is being built together by everyone in real time. And then, bam, the first entry just pops up. A timestamp locks it into history, 6:31 a.m. A thought is recorded. But you know what? It's not going to be alone for long.
Next, we see who wrote it. But it's not a name, it's not a job title. It's Snazzy Swordfish, an anonymous, kind of playful avatar. So who is Snazzy Swordfish? The CEO? The new intern? We have literally no idea. And that, right there, is the whole point.
And look at that. Not even a minute later, another timestamp. This isn't some summary typed up hours after the fact. No. This is the meeting happening live, right on the page. The conversation is flowing directly into the document, second by second.
And here comes another one, Spry Dolphin. So now it's not just one person broadcasting, it's a conversation. Snazzy Swordfish and Spry Dolphin are literally building the meeting's record together at the exact same time. It's a living thing.
And this whole thing with the funny names, it gets at something really, really important. The rise of the avatar in our professional lives. These weird, anonymous names aren't just a quirky little feature. They actually represent a huge shift in how we think about our identity at work.
So what does this actually mean when, say, John from marketing suddenly becomes Snazzy Swordfish? Well, for one, the identity becomes playful and semi-anonymous, and that instantly blows up the traditional hierarchy. An idea from Spry Dolphin is just an idea. It's not the boss's idea or the new hire's idea. The focus shifts completely to the quality of the contribution itself, not the title of the person who's contributing.
Okay, but there's another piece to this puzzle. It's not just about who's writing, it's also about where they're writing. And this brings us to the idea of the temporary workspace.
A lot of these platforms call their documents a temporary doc, and that name is super intentional. This isn't some formal report that's going to be filed away and saved for years. Think of it less like a stone tablet and more like a digital whiteboard. It's designed for messy, immediate, collaborative thinking. It's meant to be used in the moment and then maybe just tossed away. It's all about the process, not the final artifact.
So let's pull all these threads together and see what it tells us about our collaborative future. This whole shift from one lone note-taker to a bunch of avatars working together on a temporary doc, it's a much bigger deal than it seems on the surface. It's basically a snapshot of how all of our work is changing.
You can really see the whole story in these 3 steps. First, we have the stone tablet approach. One person creating a permanent official record for all time. Then, we move to the private notepad. Still one person, but mostly for their own use. And now, boom, we're in the age of the live doc. Many people, all contributing to a fluid, temporary record. We've gone from permanent to temporary, from individual to collective.
And all of this leaves us with one big, kind of thorny question to chew on. If Snazzy Swordfish and Spry Dolphin build something brilliant together on a document that's literally designed to disappear, what does that mean for our sense of individual ownership? As our work becomes more collaborative and our creations become more temporary, what happens to the whole idea of a personal legacy? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.